Happy opening day, baseball fans and enthusiasts. If you don't care about baseball, sorry, but it is the part two of the official start to the 2025 MLB season. The Japan stuff, I'm not a fan of it personally. I'd rather everything kind of just start either today or maybe have like two primetime games on Wednesday last night, and then boom, we get the full season today. But Ricky, anyways, it does not matter. It is baseball. It is finally back. Good morning, Ricky. How are you? How have you been?
Good morning. I am as excited for opening day. Kind of not fair that the Cubs lost two home games to the Japan series, but
Tough.
yeah, no, I'm super excited. It's always a great best time of the year.
And honestly, it's kind of like the time where baseball can really shine, honestly, is right now because everything's so brand new. There's no winning streak, there's no losing streak except for the Cubs and the Dodgers. Football's still really not on people's radar because the draft's obviously in another month away. Basketball, sure, the season's winding down, but we can kind of understand who the playoff teams are and who aren't. Hockey, that's super, regional based. But baseball is kind of on the forefront of people's minds right now. And then once you get the draft, and then once you get the basketball playoffs, maybe a little bit of a stretch in the summertime, maybe, but then come like end of August, it's all football. So where do we want to start? Do we want to start with baseball and kind of talk about the Paul Skenes, kind of get that out of the way? I think that's a really good topic to start with, Ricky. 1.11 million, something like that, or 1.1 million.
1.1 million with buyer's
Um,
premium.
this time on March 27th, 2026, Ricky, is that card worth 1.11 million?
It's not even worth that now, but honestly, um, I think what Dix is doing is very smart because that's just going to get so many people in the door.
Yep.
It's like good marketing, and I mean, realistically, what's 1.1 million to them?
That's why I'm like, huh, Dick's got it. Now I think it's going to go in their flagship Pittsburgh, retail store to bring people in, and then maybe it's
Exactly.
going to. And their plan is to sell merchandise. Like it's an investment for people to walk in. Oh wow, I actually need a new glove. Oh, let's get a bucket of balls. Let's get some cleats, whatever. Maybe some pants. And I think that's kind of what it's not a bad plan. It's just $1.1 million, hoping to sell some gloves and jerseys. It's gonna be kind of a tough, hill to climb. But it's just, I just, pitchers are so fragile these days. And listen, I'm happy. I've said this before. I'm happy that his market is crazy as it is because it finally gives attention to the pitchers market. We've seen a couple of great prospects, some that panned out, some that haven't. Grayson Rodriguez, Tariq Skubal, obviously he's pretty good now, and Casey Mize, he didn't pan out, but he was a top pitching prospect. Nobody cared about their cards. Nobody cared about their market. It was always Adley Rushman, Jackson Holiday more recently, Ellie when he got, called up. It's just good to see a pitcher's market, though it is obnoxious. At least it is thriving. So hopefully Skenes kind of paves the way for other pitching prospects that are coming up in the very, very near future. But I mean, if you have $1 million, we might as well.
It's tough because these days the Tommy John is basically inevitable for these young pitchers, unfortunately, especially with how hard he's throwing consistently. It's obviously I'm not wishing it on him, but it's hard to imagine he won't need at least one TJ
I
surgery.
mean, Otani's had two. Walker Bueller's had two. How many pitchers in baseball have had at least one? I mean, I don't know what the number is. I'd probably say at least half of the pitchers, or at least very close to half, whether it was in high school, college, minor leagues, or big leagues, probably have had it at some point. It's kind of scary, to kind of think about because it's all about torque, it's all about spin rate and how fast you can
Mm-hmm.
throw it. And he's a big dude. He can absorb a lot, just naturally through his, body, but there comes a time where the body, specifically the elbow, is going to give out. And it is hopefully, like you said, we're not wishing anything upon him, but hopefully it doesn't happen. But if it does, I wouldn't be personally surprised. But these collectors and investors would they would probably crap themselves because they wouldn't know what to do.
It's like the inevitable Wemby injury.
Yep.
Like we knew he was going to get hurt eventually. Obviously, not wishing it on him, but we knew that was going to happen just because that's how it is now.
And
But
his injury is not even that bad either. It's not like he tore ACL or like fractured, his leg or anything like that. But injuries are injuries, and his market thankfully hasn't like plummeted or dropped,
right.
Much at all. But the chance of injury is still there.
So if Paul Skenes gets hurt, I feel like his market wouldn't drastically decline just because there's no one to replace him yet. Just like Wemby, like there's no young pitching stud, whatever. And no one else is dating Livy Dunn. But
good point.
Yeah, no, I just don't see his market getting higher though. That's the problem.
I mean, it's the same thing with like the whole Luka situation. Is what will Paul Skenes and what would Luka have to do for their insanely high value already, or their insanely high market to go up? I mean, when Luka, granted, he didn't win the finals last year, thankfully, but when he went to the finals, his market really didn't do anything last year. Why? Because it was already so high, and whose value did go up? Jaylen Brown's, because his value was, he was undervalued. He performed at an elite high level, won the MVP, and it boomed. So, like, what would Paul Skenes theoretically have to do? He would have to probably break some kind of record. That's probably not going to happen. And I just don't think that I agree with you with this market not dropping, similar to Wemby, because so many people have so much invested into this guy. Look at Dick's 1.1 million. How many people have, hundreds and thousands of dollars worth invested into not only Wemby, but, Paul Skenes too. So that's why I don't think we'll see any drops in these guys' markets, because there's just too much there for a lot of these investors.
Yeah, going back to the Luka point, clearly the only thing that'll drive your value up is getting traded to LA. So
I mean,
hopefully that never happens to Skenes.
That's true. I mean, wouldn't be surprised without the Dodgers like to play around with the money, and Paul Skenes is on a very cheap minor league, renewable contract, so they can afford it technically, and they can just kind of push everything back another day in time. But Ricky, with baseball here, it is again a fresh, brand new start to the season for all 30 major league teams. Any sleepers that you kind of foresee coming up? I mean, a lot of people are kind of picking the Tigers to be like a deep sleeper team, based off of what they did last year and the improvements that they made this year or going into this year. But do you have a AL sleeper and an NL sleeper?
My AL sleeper, honestly, are the Nomad A's. I think they can make some noise. I think they're going to make some noise. I think they have something to prove.
That's a deep sleep. As a deep, deep sleeper.
I wouldn't be surprised if they sneak into the wild card. Just because everyone else is kind of so weak.
Mm-hmm.
AL Central is what it is. The AL West is really only the Astros.
Even they've taken a step back, though. I mean, obviously with the losses of Tucker, Bregman, Springer a few years ago. Now Altuve's in left field, which I figured out a week ago. I'm like, what is this? I'm like, what are you doing? I mean, he made a nice little
he's going to
catch.
be robbing home runs?
I don't think he can reach the wall, honestly. I mean, they keep saying, put Mookie Betts in the infield to kind of prolong his career. And meanwhile, the Astros are trying to, make their team better and put Altuve in the outfield. I'm
like they need to bring Mike Trout to first base too.
Yeah, I mean, Angels moving Trout to, I mean, it's a good move. It's a good start, but I do think, he is going to be inevitably a first baseman at some point.
Right. But A's are my AL sleeper. And my NL sleeper, let's see.
It's a tough one. It's a tough one.
It's hard to call them sleepers because they made the playoffs last year. But
I mean, I'm picking
the Brewers don't get the respect they deserve. I think the Brewers are a great young team. I think they have a lot of talent. Chorio is going to go off this year.
All those
So, yeah,
investments will pay off.
exactly. Like it's hard to call them sleepers because they made it, but I think people are underrating the Brewers this season.
I don't know if this is much of a sleeper, but I kind of like the Reds this year. I just think they got a lot of good depth, positionally at least, and then the pitching rotation. Hopefully, Rhett Lauder can make some noise at some point. I don't know if he made the. I don't think he made the opening day roster, but um, I think he's going to be the next pitching prospect up that people are going to kind of latch onto, kind of like Skenes. Obviously, two different worlds, but hopefully the path that Skenes paved hopefully can allow a guy like Rhett Lauder to kind of maybe step in and be like, hey, I'm actually pretty good. I may not be worth $1 million, but you might want to buy a couple of my cards, and
Right.
hopefully he pans out pretty well. But like I said, I think the Reds off chance the Giants just because of the moves that they made this offseason. Um, it's hard to call them a sleeper just because they either really suck or they are really good, and there is no in between. So I don't know if you can call that a sleeper or not. Diamondbacks, I'm hoping can get back to form, but the NL West is extremely tough. I think with the Padres,
Right.
obviously the Dodgers, but Tigers are definitely my AL sleeper this year. But we'll see. I mean, it's going to be a long season, Ricky. One way or the other. It's 162 games, and teams could come out of nowhere. Good teams could absolutely fall off. Maybe the White Sox win more than 35 games. Who knows? I mean, we'll just have to wait and see.
Bold
But
prediction.
I know. Take the over on the 35 if you're feeling risky. But it's going to be an interesting season this year. I mean, there's going to be prospects that get called up, whether it's like a Roman Anthony or Marcelo Meyer or whoever else that just makes absolute noise during their short-term call up. Not everyone's going to be like an Ellie that gets called up, or some people might actually be like a Jackson Holiday when they get first called up and just absolutely suck. So patience, patience, patience when it comes to prospecting. But Ricky, with baseball and Skenes discussed, where should we dive to next?
I want to talk about that box you have on your right.
Oh, this one. Just kind of cozy. That's my Nick Saban card. Yeah, so I put Pokemon in the chat because obviously Journey Together comes out tomorrow. For those that don't know, it is what are we on? 9, 10? We're on the 9th core set, the 9th expansion set for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. And it is the first set to come out since, I'm not even going to call Blooming Waters a set because that was more of just a reprint kind of a thing. But since Prismatic, first core set since Surging Sparks that came out back in November. And when this first dropped, like the announcement, pre-orders were $300. Does the set warrant $300? No. It's a great set if you are a collector and a collector only, because I personally don't think there's going to be a lot of cards in there to kind of flip unless you're just trying to sell it to other collectors. Booster boxes right now are about in the $250 range, which is still extremely way too high. But the reason why I want to talk about Pokemon is obviously we can talk about the set too, but I want to talk about the whole scalping thing, because for any of those people out there listening that were into sports cards back in 2020 and 21 and definitely 22, you would know that, and even today, honestly, retail product is hard to come by because people would just wipe out the whole shelf. Seemingly now, people are leaving the sports stuff and wiping out all the Pokemon stuff. So it is a complete reverse between the two. Um, Back then, sports were in a very unhealthy state where Pokemon was thriving pretty nicely. Now we're seeing an unhealthy state of Pokemon. We've talked about this plenty of times, where now Pokemon is in an unhealthy, toxic state compared to sports cards, where sports cards, you probably could find some blaster boxes and mega boxes laying around, whether it's at retail or for affordable pricing, compared to Pokemon, where ETBs for this product are going to be about $100, which is $9 a pack. I don't know what 250 divided by 36 is, but whatever that number is, it's still too high. How do we stop scalping, Ricky? How do we slow this down? Because from what I see, this set is not printed to an oblivion like I was hoping it would. They keep announcing reprints, but they're just empty promises, I think. Something needs to happen. Something needs to change in order to fix this.
Yeah, this. So I was just getting into the market, overall sports, whatever market in 2020, 2021. So that was again right before like the COVID. I won.
Sorry, I just want to show it to people. Carry on. Don't
No, but
die.
yeah, that was like right before the COVID boom, and during that time, you couldn't find anything on the shelves for sports cards. Prices were crazy high for cards.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you know, and it's just so I started. I looked it up. My first Pokemon post was about
Ooh.
7 months ago, like first showing my Pokemon pickups or
Was
whatever.
that August? That'd be August, right? Yeah.
August, yeah. So again, right before the Pokemon boom, I had no idea the market. I just one day saw some cards that I like and decided to, start diving into it. Excuse
Get a
me.
cough drop.
I know. But where was I going? But yeah, right now can't find any on the shelves. Retail products is just way too high for people right now. Cards are singles slabs. They're kind of coming down to earth, but they're still pretty up there. So it's just like it's so eerily similar to what happened to Pokemon sports cards during the COVID market. I don't know. You know more than me, obviously, how Pokemon cards were during the COVID market. I can't really attest to that, but it just sucks. Like it,
Just simply put, it sucks.
one way to stop the scalpers is to stop buying from them. But
Genius.
if that's essentially what it is, you got to stop buying from them, or they sit on product and reduce the prices, or stop buying it overall.
I
But
agree.
it's hard when people want that fix, so they're gonna have to pay the scalper prices.
There was a guy that came into the shop, and now I got 2 gravity feeders. Now each feeder holds 6 packs, so 12 packs total of some of the more recent sets to have come out. And he was like, "Can I get 1 pack of Prismatic?" And now keep in mind, this is completely empty besides the display pack. So I can I get 1 pack of, I think it was like Prismatic. I was like, "Sorry, I'm actually all out of it. All the packs I'm sold out of." I've been referring people to a lot more retail product that I still have, like your EX boxes, your V boxes that are like $22, whatever. And I'm like, they're like $5-6 a pack on average compared to the Prismatic I have for 15. I actually haven't changed. I don't even know what it is now. It was 15 when I was charging. And he was like kind of disgruntled. Oh, it's just a better buy over there. I mean, I could have all those packs be $15 a whack and people would still be buying it because that's just the nature of it. Every time I'm fortunate enough to be able to refill, some of the feeders, some of the gravity feeders, I'm probably bumping it up like $1 or so, from $7.99 to $8.99, and it's still going. People will pay anywhere from $7 to $15 for your recent stuff just to itch that itch. And it's just
Mhm.
a one shot, shot in the dark. And Prismatic, I think, is the worst at it because $15, you're probably going to get nothing out of it. At least with the other packs, the cheaper packs, you can get 2 for $15, or thereabouts, and have a better chance. But people want that itch, and it's absolutely insane. Again, I could charge $15 for probably a Temporal Forces pack. I'm not, guys,
Right.
I'm not, but I'm just saying I could. I could charge $20 for a Crown Zenith pack. I'm not, but I could, and it'll still sell. It's just unbelievable how people just got to get that itch from that loose pack right there, even though probably the majority of packs are coming from V boxes or ETBs anyways, and they don't want to touch that stuff. It's I totally get wanting to open stuff, but it's just like, where does the line in the sand get drawn for everybody? Where it's like, this is too high, this is too much, I'm not buying it, we're not buying it as a group. And with
Mhm.
Destin, what was it? No, Team Rocket that got announced. Pre-orders for booster boxes, $1,000. I'm like, are you guys kidding me? Like, are we serious? Like, that's almost, I don't know what the exact price. Let me look it up. I was gonna say, what does an Evolving Skies booster box go for? Evolving Skies booster box. That goes for about $1,300. At that point, Ricky, I would rather buy one of those and just
Right.
kind of stash it away. 'Cause what do you need a Team Rocket booster box for $1,000 for? Right now, at least. Whereas we've seen time and time and time and time again, pre-orders for products go down over time. Prismatic ETBs, I think, reached a high of like 170-ish. I don't know what it is now, but it dropped as low as 100, after release day. Journey Together booster box, another good example here. I don't know about the ETBs, but the boosters at least were pre-ordering for 300. Now they're around 240, 250. So it will come down. Why do we have to hurry to go buy a pre-order for
Right.
$1,000 booster box that you can't even get for another 3 months? It's absolutely insane, Ricky. And we as a group, as a hobby, need to be like, we are done. But people just want to make sure that's in the shot. People don't want to, you know, do it, lack of better terms.
Well, people always want to be the first to have something or the first to sell it, which like
It doesn't come out for another 3 months. You're not going to be the first one.
right. Like
PokeRev or some YouTuber will be.
I get the sense of wanting it first if you're selling it because like that's when the prices are highest, obviously. But I don't know. Going back to your point about needing to rip something, whatever. It's just like at the end of the day, it's gambling, and it's like it's the same sensation.
Oh, good God. How about the vending machines? How stupid that is. I
Man,
hate those. Not because it's competition. I could care less about the competition. It's what it is promoting. People to just sit there or scalp around or drive to every single Shaw's or wherever the hell they are and just wipe them out. That, that that's all they're gonna do. They're just gonna jack up their credit card, wipe them all out, throw them up on eBay or flip them on Facebook Marketplace. That's what it's promoting. That's what we're trying to get rid of. We're trying to get rid of those people, and now we're just promoting it even more. Dumbest
I,
thing I've ever seen.
yeah, I saw they try to limit purchases, but people are always going to find their way around it.
Different cards. Yep.
Right. And then I saw another story where it was this girl who was like refilling the vending machines or whatever, and someone put a tracker on her car.
Oh my
Like, let's be
God.
so serious. Like, is it that serious? Is it really that serious to make a couple bucks driving around all day? Like, do Uber.
People back in 2020 and 21 with the sports card restockers would follow them from store to store, and they would be, oh, they're going to this store today, and they'd follow them, or after they were done restocking at one store, they would follow them to the next store and the next store. And it's like, my God, I mean, people will go above and beyond. Now, the margins, I think, for the Pokemon stuff is a little bit higher now than probably sports. Oh, actually, it is higher now than it was, or than it is for sports cards now. But back in the day, I mean, booster boxes for some sports products were like 100. Booster box, blaster box was like $100 when retail's like about, was 25, 30, $35. So heavy profit margin there, and people will go above and beyond for that heavy profit margin. It's unbelievable though what I'm seeing. Like it's honestly scary for a lot of people, whether it's the Pokemon vendors or the sports card vendors or whoever it is. It's a scary time right now, and we've seen videos where people getting shoved and pushed and assaulted and attacked. Whether it's the employees or other people just trying to get product. I've said this before. I don't know if I said this on last episode or not, but if that super prismatic premium collection makes it to Costco for a discounted price, because Blooming Waters was there for $45, I think, even though retail was like $70. So people mentally thought that that was a $45 product. But if that super prismatic evolutions premium collection, whatever the hell it's called, makes it to Costco for less than MSRP, people will get hospitalized. People might even die. We've seen the videos for Blooming Waters and Prismatic Evolutions, and they are bad. This is a significantly better product. It's not a good time right now, and it's unfortunate. Very, very unfortunate.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I want one of those so bad.
We all do. We all do. It's just like people will just do anything and everything to get their hands on it. It's like I don't know. I don't know. I mean, maybe I
See,
just have a different perspective on it, but holy
so
crap.
my thing is like, obviously people want it, to be printed more accessible, whatever. But then, like, isn't the scarcity of the like people want the hit rates to be better? People want to find more hits, whatever. Like, isn't the scarcity of the hits what drives the value?
Let me ask you this, Ricky. Would you rather have easy access to the chase card, but it be worth less, or would you rather the tougher pull rates and the card is worth more? So if you were to buy this booster box for $250, right? And I could tell you, you'll have a 1 in 3 chance at pulling the best card in the whole set out of this. You would jump on it, right? Oh yeah, wow, that's great odds. Okay. But now everyone else has that 1 in 3 odds as well. Therefore, the price of whatever the card is, let's just say it's a $200 chase card, is going to plummet because 1 in 3 people are pulling it. Or would you rather buy the same booster box at $250 and have your odds now go from 1 in 3 to say 1 in 30? But now the chase card is worth from $200. Now it's worth $1,000 because the odds are significantly less. So it's like, do you want the card and everybody have the card, or do you not want the card and not be able to afford the card? It's a double-bladed sword because a lot of people want the chase cards and they want their cards to be valuable. Now, unless you're dishing out tons of money, you can't get best of both worlds.
Right.
So
Well,
it's like,
that's
what do you want?
that's what I mean. Like, would you rather have better chance of? But then at what point does chase card not become the chase card because everyone's getting it?
I think the term chase card is just more so the most valuable card in the set. I don't think it has anything to do with the
That-
odds, personally.
That's what I'm saying. Like, how valuable is the most valuable card in the set going to be if everyone has it?
I mean, Scarlet and Violet, I mean, when that product tanked, its chase card was like $30 at, I think, its lowest point, but it was still technically considered the chase because it was the most expensive card in the set. And then you look at the Moonbreon from Evolving Skies. I mean, that thing's like $33,000, and every other evolution out of that set's still worth, a few $100s. So I mean,
Mhm.
there can be multiple chase cards. Sometimes the chase card is worthless because I mean, I don't know what I'm trying to think of another set here. Oh, Shroud of Fable. Perfect example. The Persian card. I think that's like $100 card now. Before it was like a $40 card. A lot of people had it, and it was the most expensive card in the set, but it was still called the chase. I mean, you got to peg something as the chase. So
Right.
it's
Fair.
as a collector's point of view, I could care less what my cards are worth. All those cards could be worth $5 each. I could care less because I want the cards based on what they look like. There's a Ted Williams card there, obviously one of the best Red Sox players. That's what I buy. There's a Fred Lynn rookie card right there. My dad's favorite player. That's what I bought. I'm not buying $100 Ted Williams. I'm not buying a $20 Fred Lynn card. So it's all about
Yeah.
perspective for people. I
Yeah.
believe, at least. All right.
And it's
All
funny
right.
because no one wanted Shrouded Fable, so they couldn't get anything else.
Yep. And now you can't even get Shrouded Fable. I have a case of ETBs of Shrouded Fable, and I think I had it for like $435. Now, case comes with 10 ETBs. This was maybe a month ago, maybe 6 weeks ago. And I'm like, wow, Shrouded Fable is actually kind of selling around here. Let me see how much they're back to $45 a box. I'm like, oh, okay. So I upped it to 450, 45 times 10. A couple weeks go by, and I'm like, let me just double check because I'm selling some of these 3-pack blisters. So I look back up and it's like $49 of ETB. I'm like, whoa. I think last time I checked, it was like $55 of ETB. I'm like, my goodness. Out of nowhere. And I think the cards in that set were cool, and I don't think it should. I think it undeservingly lost a lot of value, and the value tanked. I just think it's because we went from Shrouded Fable to I forget the set after that. Twilight maybe. Anyways, Pokemon does this thing all the time, where a new set is about to come out 3 days before, 4 days before, and they release the next one. They just did it with Journey
Yeah.
Together and Team Rocket. They did it with Prismatic and Surging. They do it all the damn time. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. It's just how you kill the excitement of a set. If we didn't know about this Team Rocket, I mean, we knew about it, but if it wasn't officially announced, people would still be all excited about this. But now the excitement's shifted. They do it all the damn time.
That's fine. I'll buy a booster box for cheaper.
I mean, it works out that way for a lot of people. So, I mean, it's definitely something to, not complain about, I guess, for collectors. All right, Ricky, talk to me about this guy.
Yes.
Oh, wrong.
So going back to our point on, needing to fix that itch. So this is a brand new account, Collectors MD, that just brought to my attention the other day. So what they're advocating is basically the repacks, all that stuff. It's gambling. It's a form of gambling, and it's while people get addicted to like casino, scratch, all that stuff. That's regulated. Like casinos are gambling. Like I said, they promote responsible gambling, even though they don't.
I was gonna say they just want your money,
right? Like they're just doing that to be the good guy, whatever. But yeah, I guess it's more just like a support page, support group of someone who has been through it. Someone who's
MD, medical doctor. Oh, duh. Now I get it.
Not Maryland.
Now, okay, sorry, keep going.
But no, it just talks about like the dangers of getting addicted to the packs and breaks and all that stuff, and how unregulated it is, and how dangerous it can be. And there's really nothing to fall back on. Like once you're in, you're in. If something happens, then oh well. Like how do I? Yeah, it's just like it's unregulated gambling, and that's bringing awareness to it, which I think is great because people don't realize how much money they're actually losing with all this stuff, and that no one necessarily has their back. Like there's no minimum. Like people could say, "Oh, the floor is $20," but realistically, it's a $5 card, and there's nothing no one could do about it.
When you first mentioned this when Collectors MD, obviously I didn't know what the MD stood for at the time. I didn't really read into it like I have been while you've been talking. I thought we were about to go to it like a bad angle, like they're the bad guy some way or scam something. I'm like, and then as you're talking about it, I'm like, wow, this is actually good and not a scam at all. Well, I mean, I don't know, but so Jesus, we are zoomed in. Oh no, we're not. The first recovery-focused support group for card collectors struggling with compulsive breaking and hobby-related spending. Can we get like a psychiatric diagnosis here of obsessive breaking disorder, OBD, like OCD, but obsessive breaking disorder?
I'm sure we're not that far away from an official diagnosis.
I like gambling, but there's no regulation, no support, no one talks about it. Anonymous collector. I spent over $50,000 last year on breaks. I didn't realize how bad it got until my cards weren't even exciting anymore. I just needed the hit. That's just the thing. I mean, who was? I think it was Rob Veers from Burbank said that they don't do breaks. They never will, because 80% of the time you're not walking away satisfied with your purchase of the break. I completely agree. Now, sure, you might be able to strike gold. You sure can get into the big expensive boxes for cheap, and that's fine and dandy. Sure, you might walk away with some nice cards, but how many times does that really happen? Out of the $50,000 that this guy spent last year, how much money do you think he really, really made back? I'd say he doesn't even crack 10% return value. I don't even think he made $5,000 on his stuff. It's
Wouldn't surprise me.
crazy.
Well, back to the Burbank point, like that's what separates people from. That's what separates like the guys who actually care about this hobby and want it to grow and all that stuff, like you, Burbank, whatever, versus people who are just in it for the money,
Yep.
like running breaks. Like they don't care if people are happy; they just want their money.
I completely agree, and that's why I don't do break. I mean, I did because that was the thing, and then when people stopped joining because I wasn't backyard, then I was like, well, this is pointless. And like again, sure, it can be like I'm not going to say that local breaks are bad. Now, what I mean by local breaks is you, couple buddies, buy a box or two and you break them together while you're watching the big game or you're drinking some beers or whatever. Like those are fine. You know, you buy a $500 box, you split it 4 ways, and you pick your teams however you want and you have fun. That I will never, never, ever say is bad because that is you and the boys or you and the gals having fun opening stuff. But when it gets to the extreme level of gambling, and sure, that's a form of gambling, of course, but for $125 or $120, you're having fun with your friends. I don't think that's a problem, Ricky. If I said that you can have fun for $120 with you and 3 other friends, um, you know, just in a vacuum, you'd be like, all right, what are we doing? Like that piques your interest. But when it comes to the whole element of Facebook breaks or even Razzes or Rizzes, whatever they're called on Facebook, whatever.
Raffles.
Yeah, that's stupid. The whatnot breaking is stupid. Now, the whatnot single element I think is fine because you can find
Right.
some good steals and you can move stuff, even though it might be a lot cheaper than you want, but you can move and get liquid, or liquidity, I should say. But my God, the people that buy into these high end breaks from these big streamers respectfully figure it out. Take that money, take that $50,000 that you spent and just go buy the damn card or go buy
Right.
the cards because you could probably get multiple cards, whatever you were chasing. How many CJ Stroud kabooms or how many Wemby autos could you get? You probably get a handful of autos actually at that price. How many of those Mercury boxes can you get? I mean, that was a hot topic of us that we talked about. So I feel bad for people who are blinded by breaks. And again, I'm not going to ever speak bad about a local break with you and the guys, you and the girls, whoever. It's just to the I'm glad there's something like this out there. Hopefully it gains a little bit of traction. Hopefully people kind of enter rehabilitation for their OBD, obsessive breaking disorder. But I've been preaching this for a couple years now. Breaking is bad for the hobby. Now, all the singles that we know and love that we like to buy, whether it's at shows, at shops, or online, or wherever, all come from boxes anyway. So it has to get opened one way or another. But how many people are losing on that box, on
Mhm.
that card? Many. I can't even quantify it. It's many.
You're, at the end of the day, you're chasing the dragon. Like you're chasing that high. Like at what point are you satisfied with the pull that you get?
Do you ever get satisfied?
That's
Honestly.
what I'm. That's what I'm saying. Like maybe you get lucky one time and you pull the chase. You get into the next break, like, oh, this chase card's even bigger. I'll go
Mm-hmm.
get that one now. And obviously you don't get it, so you keep rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat. So luckily, I've never really been into breaks or repacks or anything like that. Like I entered a couple of yours, but that was just for fun.
Thank you.
Um, Essentially, I got into cards to help, my sports betting and all that stuff, and it's worked. But obviously, it's been the reverse for some people where they just get straight up addicted to it, chasing the hits, chasing the highs, and all that. It sucks.
Sorry, I'm just
So
trying
like,
to fly through this.
no, I get it. It's so like I'm a big supporter of this collecting these stuff. Like I'll be sharing all their stuff whenever they post or whatever. But I think it's something that people should look into, because whether it's, you know, whether it's at an all-time high and you're like addicted to it, or you feel yourself getting to that point, it'll be good to have that resource and see that like there's other people who need it as well. Because there, like I said, there is no sports card support group unless you go to Gambling is Anonymous and bring up that specific topic. And it's not as widely known as like scratch offs and casinos. So there's only so much help you can. There's only so much help you can get.
Yeah, I'm
So
curious.
It's
Sorry,
good to have. No, it's good. It's good to have that page right there where specifically for your topic you can find the resources.
I'm hoping that this picks up some steam because I'm sure you've run into it. I'm sure you've talked to people. Oh, I got this in a break, so I need to get this out of it so they can kind of recoup on whatever they spent on the break.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, respectfully, I don't care what you got into the car. I don't care that you bought it for however much and it's now worth this. I don't care that you got it in a break and it's worth this. I care about what it's worth today. And sometimes people take that the wrong way. Sorry, you have a guilty conscience. And I'm not trying to be rude. I'm just trying to be realistic, because a lot of people, myself included, as much of a collector as I am, they do look at it from a business perspective. And if you ask any business person out there in any profession, that if I told you that you would lose 90% of your money from gambling on your business with a questionable ROI, would you do it? Yes or no? I guarantee you every single one of them says no. Now, sure,
Right.
there are some risks that you need to take, but obviously we got to mitigate and try to, take, uh, what's the word I'm looking for? Strategic risks. But a 90% risk is not a strategic one, if you ask me. I mean, again, I
Right.
just have a small business, but I mean, it's just like, I think that a lot of people hopefully can accept that they need help, because so many people will come in. They'll just buy full boxes. And listen, as grateful as I am, and at least they're buying the full boxes, but those same people are probably entering flawless breaks and NTE breaks and impeccable, immaculate breaks all day long. And I guess someone has to buy into those breaks. But if people stop buying into the breaks, then the breakers can't make the money, and then the breakers can't make the money and buy from the manufacturer. And then maybe a trickle down effect allows more product to be opened up for a shop like myself or other shops. So there would definitely be a massive um, economic impact in the hobby if breaking just gets cut in half by 50%. The amount of revenue that it generates by easy 50% if people dial back. But from my medical background, because before this, I was a clinical mental health counselor, which is a big jumble of words. But the first problem that people face is acceptance, and accepting that there is something. I'm not going to say a problem, but there is something, whether you have a problem, whether you need help, or you're in denial, you have to accept whatever it is. Accept you need help. Accept you have a problem. Accept that you're trapped. Accept that you're in a dark place. Accept that you're not well. And once you can accept and you're out of the phase of denial, then you can see change. And a lot of guys, specifically guys, are always in denial when it comes to something mental, whether it's a depression, anxiety, or some kind of disorder. They're always in denial. So hopefully those same people, well, these people who need that help, can accept it and get out of the phase of denial. But I think this is great for the hobby. I mean, I really do. Hopefully they can make an impact and they can have a strong change on the hobby positively. Hopefully they can make it to the national too and have some kind of presence at the national. I don't expect them to have a booth or anything, but they could be set up in the lobby and hand out some business cards and flyers, or walk around and do it. They should. Fanatics Fest, maybe. They should. All right.
Yeah.
I didn't. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, I just think this is a great idea.
All right. I should have had this ready, but before we carry on, I want to make a quick plug real quick for a selfish plug, I should say, for the shop. those that may be living under a rock, hopefully you're not. I made. Oh, this is stuck. There we go. I made a new Instagram page with a new announcement offering a brand new product. Well, it's not brand new, but it's new to me, and that is Card Town Armor. I'm super excited about this. It's been in the works for a very long time. Now, sure, it may look similar to some of the competitors out there, but I promise you, it's different. It's more durable. I'm not going to throw this, but if you throw it, it's not going to break. If you drop it, it's not going to break. It's not going to crack. The plastic, I've played with the plastic on other ones, which is cheap plastic. It will just be so flimsy and flexible. I'm literally trying to pull this apart, and it's not. Murph, how do you get it off? It's a pain in the butt. I'm not going to do it. But the other ones, they're so flimsy and it's just terrible. So I don't want it to be obnoxious. So of course, when it's not on the slab, it is flexible, which is good. So you can get it on the slab. Right now, we just have PSA, but it's super awesome. How flexible, how durable it can really take an impact. But once you get it on the slab, again, I'm really trying to pull it off. But yeah, these will be available sometime in April. Murph's Cardtown, murphscardtown.com. Definitely would appreciate you guys checking it out. I will leave a link to the shop's website down below. Definitely check it out. Haven't figured out an exact price yet on these, but they will be under $10 at where I'm not sure, but they will be. And you'll also be able to save if you get at least 5 of these in a bundle. You can get 5 random colors that I'll choose, or you can get 5 yellows or 5 blues, whatever it may be. But definitely check it out. Go follow Cardtown Armor on Instagram. We just dropped our promotional announcement video. Very, very excited for this stuff right here. So, little plug right there, Ricky. Hope you didn't mind. I just ruined the bed.
I'm it's become a lot more popular now, so I'm glad you're jumping on the space. Like I said on that video promotion, that video was pretty sick. You did a good job on that.
Dude, that was so fun to make. I had so much fun making that. I appreciate it. Let's see, can we pull it up here? Hold on. Let me see if I can pull it up right here. Stand by.
Hold on real quick.
Hold on. Let me see. Share screen. I don't know if the audio will come through though. Hold on. Let me know if you can hear the audio. Can you hear it?
No.
Damn. All right. Well, I'm not gonna play it if you can't hear the audio. Actually, can I change the audio? No, it's fine. It's on both the shop's Instagram. It's on its own Instagram. I'll probably make it a short here on YouTube. But expect more content, on both Instagram pages regarding that. Again, it will be available to the public in April, sometime in April. Still got to fine tune some things, and I'm very, very excited. Super awesome. But I appreciate the love, Ricky, for the video and the excitement as well. So that out of the way, hopefully you guys check it out if you are looking to protect your, for now, PSA graded cards, but we will be expecting to be able to protect Beckett along with CGC as well. All right. I did not write this in the chat, but I do want to talk about one more thing here on Instagram. If I can just pull it up. It is not that. It is this. This is from 20 hours ago, Ricky, that Alt posted this. This is the top risers over 7 days across all categories. Any particular thing that stands out to you?
That's wow. Yeah, Lad McConkey, he's a good but all the Pokemon is crazy.
Yeah. And
also, why Raging Bolt and Growing Moon?
I don't know, just generic EXs. I would imagine they're some way, shape, or form competitively playable because random cards will spike if they're very playable on the tournament scene. So
that makes sense.
That's just my random guess because random hyper gold trainer cards will be worth like $40. It's like what? So it happens. A lot of evolutions, Mewtwo, Lugia, fan favorites, random Lad McConkey guy. Heard he's pretty cool, pretty good. But this is just a testament to the landscape and demand of market share that Pokemon kind of has right now. And sure, it may be good. people are investing in this stuff. If people are sellers of this stuff, but if you're a seller, you still got to be a buyer at the same time. So it kind of goes back and forth a little bit. It just keeps going up. I'm like about to, Jesus. It just keeps going up, and is there an end in sight? I keep saying that the bubble will pop. I think it'll be a slow seep at first. Someone already said the bubble popped. I'm like, what are you talking about? This bubble is still growing. I've talked about this before. We need mass production of this to really slow it down or make it pop. I think that's still probably going to be the only way. Or hopefully a massive reprint. I don't want to say of everything, but of all the fan favorite stuff. Blooming Waters, Prismatic, Surging Sparks, you name it, it should get reprinted. And then hopefully on top of people not buying from scalpers anymore, then we can kind of hopefully see it slow down a little bit. But what a terrible time to be. I know you just got into it 7 months ago. What a terrible time to be into Pokemon, though. It really, really, really is.
Right. Like, I guess I just bring bad luck where I pop goes.
And I'm the same guy that was saying that Pokemon is better than sports cards that same 7 months ago. And I will stay by that. I think at the time that was a true statement. But now it is. Would you agree with me? I think you do. Would you agree with me that Pokemon is blowing up, or has blown up, I should say, and has the level of scalpers in it because the money dried up with sports cards, or they failed with sports cards? So they're just on to the next thing. And then whatever the next thing after that is, they'll, once Pokemon dries up, they'll jump ship to the next thing.
Right. I don't know. I wouldn't necessarily say the sports card money dried up, but the Pokemon money is definitely better right now.
So if you don't think it dried up, then it's hard to explain, because like there are retail product available. Every Target, every Walmart's going to be different, but it is available.
Right.
But you go to any of those stores and there is nothing for Pokemon available. So like, I mean, people were able to make tons of money with sports cards, and then there was a period of time where you could make nothing with sports cards, whether, from the sealed product perspective, the retail stuff. The singles you still could.
Part of sports cards' way of combating that was raising the retail prices so that the scalpers' margins got smaller, and it just wasn't worth it for them. So maybe we'll see the same with Pokemon eventually.
When Scarlet and Violet came out, they went from $45 to $50 MSRP because you get an extra pack out of it. At least they gave you an extra pack. With the sports stuff, you're not getting anything. So at least you could say, all right, they're giving us an extra $5 pack, which you can kind of wrap your head around. I make that claim because there was a period of time, and you can maybe even say today, but not really, where maybe it was like 2022, the whole Kenny Pickett, Malik Willis, people were just like, there's nothing here. There's nothing to buy. There's nothing to flip. No one wants to buy this stuff. And I think that kind of had a huge impact on the sealed market. And then you go into the fact that people are buying cards back in 2020 and 21 and trying to sell them a couple years later, and those cards aren't worth that kind of value. So I just think those people see that and they're like, wow, I can't be doing this anymore. Oh, but this random card is up 20%. Oh, this random card's up 10%. Oh, people actually like this stuff. Oh, it's sitting on the shelf. I could buy it and go sell it. Oh, let me do that. And then it just rinse and repeat. Oh, a really popular product came out. Well, let me buy it and sell it for double. Oh, let me buy it and sell it for triple. Exactly what they were doing with sports cards. It's just terrible. Not to circle back to a whole another Pokemon conversation, but I think this right here, these risers, I mean, Sylveon, Espeon, Leafeon, Umbreon, they are the staples of prismatic evolutions. Probably 4 of the most popular evolutions. And their growth over the last 7 days is showing the stronghold that Pokemon has on the current market, on top of some other random, Pokemon stuff here too. And then Lad McConkey. Real quick, talk about the droppers falling. All sports guys, besides Drowsy, but that's because that Drowsy alt art, SAR or whatever, full art from Scarlet and Violet should never been $100 card. So now it's finally falling. But it's all sport. All these guys are people that we've all bought and invested in, right? Ashton Genty hasn't even reached the NFL yet, and his market's already down. Drake May, people keep talking about him up the wazoo. His market's down. Anthony Richardson, what an abysmal mess he is. I'll skip Puka because he was injured for a little bit, and he's a receiver, and it's a lot different. Brian Thomas, arguably, outside of Daniels, the best rookie. Maybe in some way, shape, or form, just as good as Jaden Daniels, if we can compare apples and oranges. He's down.
They
What's that?
spelled Luca's last name wrong, didn't they?
Nakao, yeah, it's Nakua, not Nakao. It's like cacao, like the chocolate. That's funny. I'm glad you pointed out. I didn't even see that. Jason Dominguez, once upon a time top prospect, still top prospect for the Yankees. He's down. Halliburton, people love him. He's down. Triple J, kind of random, but he's down. So I skipped Bijan because he's a running back. He's just going to naturally go down. It's just the way it is.
Right.
But besides the Drowsy, which we can explain why that's down, it's all sports cards. I think just another testament to why sports is down and Pokemon is up, as sad as it is. But speaking of Drake May, though, what's up?
I wonder what it's going to take for people to go back to sports cards. Probably a license.
Yeah, so we have Topps Chrome for football and basketball, and people like it, but they won't touch Leaf with a 10-foot pole. But I digress. I think sports cards with the I think they're just done with Panini in general. I mean, these are all Panini guys besides Dominguez, right? Yeah, like football, basketball besides Dominguez. He's baseball. So I think people are just sick of buying Panini products, but for some reason, Football Prism is still like a $1,500 hobby box last time I checked. But basketball, Prism basketball this year is like a $600-700 box. So there's a huge discrepancy there. I think the licensing thing is huge. People are kind of sick of Panini. I think the nature that Pokemon is more popular right now, that's a huge factor. And also, people might be scarred, honestly, from the money or the investments lost, I think, from other players. So they're like being more financially smart about who they buy. Like, okay, let's ask ourselves, 10 years from now, is Brian Thomas Jr. going to be one of the best receivers we've seen this generation? Answer is probably no.
Probably not.
But a guy like Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson, they kind of are at least the current moment. And in 10 years from now, they're probably, when their career is nearing an end, we're going to look back and be like, wow, he was the Jerry Rice of our generation. He was the Randy Moss of our generation. Are we saying that about Tyrese Halliburton? Certainly not Anthony Richardson. Are we going to say that about, Bijan or Drake May? Chances are probably not. But I do want to talk about Drake May because you mentioned this, the whole Drake May situation. He finally has, and I say this all the time, every quarterback needs weapons. Finally has his weapon, but he's injured. So it's going to take a little bit of time for him to come back, and it's going to take a little time to develop that rapport. What are your thoughts on Diggs, quarterbacks needing weapons? Does Drake May become arguably that guy to buy at Fanatics Fest or the National? Like we always see two quarterbacks kind of be the must buys that given year. Does this make Drake May one of those? Kind of break it down for me how you see it.
To that point, the must buy is obviously going to be Jaden Daniels, Caleb Williams.
Best buy or the most hyped up buy?
Most hyped up buy.
I was going to say.
Because his prices are pretty high, so so that's why I wouldn't say the best buy, just because like how much higher can you get? But
yeah,
probably Drake May and Caleb Williams are going to be 2A and 2B. Caleb Williams with a new coach, I'm assuming they'll get him some weapons. We'll see, but What was your other question?
Oh, Drake May finally has a wide receiver one.
Yeah,
Um,
that's so huge because who was our best receiver last year?
me.
Kendrick Bourne. Yeah, basically.
It's yeah. Bourne. I think he was injured even a little bit too, and then he came back. Pop Douglas. He's still a 2 or a 3 in my opinion. Probably a 3. Jalen Polk blows. They brought in Mac Hollins again, probably a 3. I can't even think of who else they have. Javon Baker, the wheelchair guy. Um, who else was running routes? I mean, that's just how
Right,
bad this team
exactly.
was. But again, I mean,
Uh,
Diggs will be out for probably 6 to 10 weeks, and anywhere in that range. And even when he comes back, you can practice all you want, but it's going to take a couple games to kind of get caught up to speed. Real hits, real routes, real plays, real blocks, real catches. So I just think people are so excited, which they should be because the Patriots have shown initiative this offseason. The guy's 31, going to be 32. I mean, could have got Cooper Cup for a similar, cheaper value. And right now, would you rather have Cooper Cup or Diggs? I think that's a good argument, but I think Diggs is more explosive, but Cup's more reliable.
yeah,
It's going to be interesting.
it would have been nice to see them go after Cooper Cup with the same aggression, but I think they had to go after Stefon Diggs because they didn't land Cooper Cup and all the other names. So this
And
is I don't want to say this was a desperation move, but this was a move they had to make.
I think this was complete desperation because they struck out on everybody else. Going back to last year, they struck out on Calvin Ridley, even though they offered him more. They offered Chris Godwin more. They struck out on him. He went back to Tampa, and they showed no initiative with Debo or Cooper Cup, no initiative with Devontae Adams, and
T.
it's just like
Higgins.
T. Higgins. Even I mean, I still didn't think they should have paid $30 million for him. That's just me though. But
Yeah,
before this, and even with this, I still think the Patriots are going to be kind of hand tied to draft Tetaroa McMillan out of Arizona because they can't bring in anybody else. If Stephon Diggs was healthy, I don't think he's here. I think another team brings him in, a contending team. It's like, hey, like the Texans last year. I know they traded for him, but Texans would have been a perfect example, or a team like the Panthers, even. Let's bring in Diggs. He can be our number 1 or our number 2, considering our team, and he can help elevate our young quarterback. And we're in that position to make that next step. I still think that they're tied to McMillan because Diggs is going to be out for a little bit. And when he does come back, if you can trot out there Diggs, McMillan, Mac Hollins, I guess, hopefully Jalen Polk, rebounds, whoever else they have on that, Rob Pop Douglas, even that's a
signed
good
Austin
core.
Cooper.
Yeah, they re-signed Austin Hooper. They still have Hunter Henry. So I still think they're hand tied to taking a receiver at 4. Obviously, if
You know,
Carter or Hunter aren't there.
how about Genty?
So I like the Genty idea. I don't know if I want a running back at 4. That's the thing. Now listen, Saquon was 2 and he panned out. Zeke was I think 4 and he panned out his rookie season, but so did Sony Michel his rookie season. Then they fell off. I'd rather them bring in a Nick Chubb for 1 year and let Nick Chubb and Stevenson kind of be a dual backfield and go somewhere else. If you can trade back and take Genty at like 6, 7, kind of that range, fine. But you just paid Ramondre Stevenson last year, so I think he still has like 2 or 3 years left on that deal. I don't know. I think the Patriots, with all those re-signings 2 years ago, just kind of put themselves in a tough corner. But moves that they had to make, and they made them. But I do like Genty a lot. I think if he goes to the Bears, watch out in that division. If he goes to the Raiders, we'll see. But the Patriots
No,
have a lot of decisions to make. Still,
Raiders are drafting Sanders. They have to.
you don't like Geno?
Oh,
Geno.
I think God, Gino. Yeah, you're right.
How about this?
That's
You heard it here first on Hobby Talk, episode 37. Heard it here first. Dak Prescott's getting traded to the Browns. Heard it here first. 2nd overall pick. And figure out the other compensation. I could care less, but that's going to be the premise of the package.
you think so?
Maybe I heard a report, and I'm just going to kind of roll with it until it's true or until it's not. but it makes sense. It makes sense. The Cowboys are going nowhere. They can take that pick and draft Shedeur if they want, and then maybe bring in Dion when their current head coach flames out. The Browns have a decent roster. They suck, but they have a decent roster. They need a quarterback, and if you bring in Dak, who I still think is good, it's just he comes up short in the big moments. But he is a good quarterback. You plug him in there in that offense with Njoku and Judy. Crap, I can't think of the running back. Not Nick Chubb, but they should bring Nick Chubb back. Jerome Ford, not a bad team right there. Defense is solid with Denzel Ward and Myles Garrett. But I think the draft's gonna be interesting though.
Him and Sean will be quite the quarterback room.
Him and who?
Deshaun Watson.
He's got to go. He might be part of that whole trade package just to ship him out and kind of make dollars work. But Deshaun Watson stinks. Absolutely stinks.
That did not pan out well.
I'm so focused on the draft and the rookies coming out because, of course, this hobby is so infatuated with the rookies that we got to know them now. Because how many people before the Patriots took Drake May, how many people really knew who Drake May was? First of all, how many people can name what college he went to or who his number one receiver was his junior year? Nobody. Well, not many people. So it's like, let's get an idea of who these guys are now so we can start maybe that investment process since we love our investments, Ricky, right? Now, so come the time when they blow up and it's time to sell, we're into it for cheap.
Right.
I mean, just like with not Wemby. Wemby. People were buying like his collegiate cards before the Spurs stuff came out.
Right.
All right. Is there anything else that we need? What's up?
Who was his number one receiver junior year?
It was junior year. I have no idea, but it was Josh Downs' his sophomore year. See, I don't even know. So I mean, his sophomore year he was good. He was actually pretty good his sophomore year, and then I think they had a new coach. Josh Downs obviously gets drafted, and again, I couldn't even tell you who his receiver was his junior year. And for those that don't know, he went to UNC, but probably people know by now that he went to UNC.
I knew that.
I know you did, but some people don't. How many people knew where Jaden Daniels went a month before the draft? How many people knew what college he went to a month before the draft? Probably not many. You grabbing something? You showing and tell?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Little Elko and take prop.
Okay. All right. Well, as we wrap up this episode here, Ricky, I'd love to know your outgoing takes, and you're about to show it, I guess. Oh boy. What's that? A dozen? How many is that? 13. Baker's dozen.
15.
Oh, 15. 3 Baker's dozen.
We're buying this guy, James Wood.
So what are we doing with James Wood now? That he's on the opening day roster, that he's expected to become a budding superstar, something that we've been clamoring on this podcast for well over a year now.
Well, we're still buying him. He's my guy.
Plain and simple. Just keep buying. Hit that buy it now button.
So he learned how to pull the ball. When he does that, he'll be MVP.
The Nationals team is scary.
I was saying the Nationals were going to win the World Series within the next 3 years, but then the Dodgers happened. So we'll see. But
a lot of people are writing off the Nationals in the NL East. I mean, they got the Braves, they got the Phillies, and the Mets all ahead of them. I mean, the Marlins are well written off, but
right.
I don't think anybody's giving the Nationals like a chance to win 85, 86 games and kind of sneak in as a wild card team. In that division, it'll be tough, but
it's still a young team, but they're a great young team.
I think they'll be a year too early. I think next year might be their year.
I agree. They have to fix their pitching.
Yeah. So your outgoing take is by James Wood, of course. My outgoing take, well, first of all, is there anything else that we need to talk about before we wrap it up? I think we hit on everything.
Yeah.
Okay. Buy James Wood is yours. My outgoing take is don't buy from scalpers. I think it's plain and simple. Guys, you don't need to rip the Pokemon. You don't need to rip the new set at 5x the price. You don't need to. It is okay. It's okay.
You can wait.
Relax, breathe. We're not degenerates here. And if you are, check out Collectors MD. But don't buy from scalpers, because if we don't buy from scalpers, then they just sit on dead inventory. And what do they do with the dead inventory? They fire sale it. And then you can buy it off of them for cheaper than what they paid for. And maybe they'll get out of here because they're losing money. So that is my outgoing take. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching this episode of Hobby Talk. It has been an absolute blast, as always. Please make sure you smash the thumbs up button. Comment down below any thoughts, questions, comments, concerns, anything you want to talk about down in the comment section. Please leave those down there. Subscribe to the channel. Check out the channel membership program. And I have queued up an excellent video covering Ricky's face. Oh, he's over here to me. Covering Ricky's face, because that's just where I put the next video for you guys to go watch. Hopefully, I'll see you in that one. Peace out, guys.